Hey, what's up, everyone? Blind Creative here. So you're about to listen to the podcasts with me and Sir.dork. Hopefully you all enjoy. I just want to give you all a heads up, which is, um, unfortunately, the last 20 to 30 minutes, which I edited out, so you don't have to see the issue or hear the issue. But unfortunately, the last 20 to 25 minutes didn't get recorded, unfortunately. Well, not from my end, but from my guests' end, which, again, it's really unfortunate. This podcast was originally about an hour and 10 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes, but thankfully, 40 minutes of it was working, so there's that. So, again, hopefully you'll enjoy. If you don't know who Sir.dork is, please make sure to go follow him on Instagram and YouTube, of course, and also TikTok. I believe he's in. But yeah, enough of me talking. Let's get on to the podcast, shall we? All right. What's up, everyone? Blank Creative here. Here with me today is Jared, aka Sir.dork. How's it going, man?
It's going great. Thanks for having me. It's great to talk to you.
No, I'm honored to have you here on my podcast.
No, the pleasure is all mine. Pleasure's all mine, man.
No, it's seriously, to me, it's a dream come true.
No, well, honestly, I'm so incredibly impressed. Like, I don't know a whole lot about, your vision and all the struggles I'm sure that you deal with, but the fact that you're able to put out everything you put out, and it's just, I'm just amazed and impressed, and just like, you're awesome, and I think you're amazing. So,
thank you.
Yeah, and I'm super curious to hear more about just everything you do, man.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? At any point, feel free to ask me anything about my eyesight or anything else. You know, this isn't just about me; it's about you as well. So anything goes for this show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
So actually, I do have something to say for me. I have like a eyesight. It's called a septo-optic dysplasia, which is like the optic nerve didn't develop fully right. So it's a weak muscle, but thankfully I have enough eyesight to get around and to, obviously take pictures and, watch movies, all that good stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, again, it gets a little confusing for everyone because I can, but I can't see.
Right, I got you. Well, I'm like, I can only imagine it being like, I don't know, a major adversity, or even something that you wouldn't necessarily think like, oh, like, can I do photography? I don't know, growing up, and look, you got your, I don't know, and you're putting out amazing work. I think
oh,
you're
thank you.
I think you're incredible.
Oh, that's one goal I have, is to, show everyone else that even people with disabilities can create something.
Yeah, that's super inspiring, man.
Thank you. So I do have one question for me, which is actually for you. Which is something that I ask everyone who joins in my show. It's how did your great journey start? In Halo terms, of course. Like, how did you begin as a toy photographer?
Honestly, my story, I guess, with getting into toy photography is pretty similar, I think, to everyone else. I was just collecting action figures, really starting to get into it. Like, there was a store that opened up near me that just was like incredible, and I was like, wow, look at all these, and just like this spark ignited in me where I just wanted to just get all of these things again that I wanted as a kid, just like any other collector. And then I just started seeing on Instagram people taking photos of them, because I was just kind of posting like, oh, just got this new figure, just on my personal Instagram. And then through that, I just kind of noticed actual beautiful photos of these figures artistically. I'm like, that's awesome, like I want to do that. And I just kind of got inspired and just went from there.
So did you have anyone like in particular that you enjoyed seeing like photos from?
Yeah, the two people that I think of that really inspired me when I first started. Well, one is Sergeant Bananas, who he's been kind of doing it for a long time, and the kind of stuff he was putting out at the time. This was like 2014 or something, and like the stuff he was putting out at the time, like if you were to go and scroll all the way back on his, it was just these just super hard war photos with stormtroopers and just these crazy action-packed photos. A lot of snow and a lot of fireworks, and it's very inspiring for me, because that's ended up what I, lots of action stuff too. And then another guy that unfortunately he doesn't really post anymore. His name was Everything Kylo. Another guy that just like loved blowing stuff up, and I was like, wow, this, so very, very inspiring for me.
Man, that's amazing. I feel like we all have specific someone that we just start to gain inspiration from, and just kind of grow from there.
Totally, yeah. It's so cool that there just are so many awesome, incredible, nice, and inspiring artists out there that are just bringing more people in, like us.
Oh, I know. I like this toy photography community. I feel like everyone is just like really helpful towards one another, and we all help each other to give each other ideas or just inspiration in general.
It's crazy, yeah. Like I can't imagine any other community being as welcoming as this one is. It's just everybody is just like not only happy to talk about it, but just like I think what it is because, and maybe this is just, I don't know, me. Like, I feel like so many of us don't have a lot of people to relate with about this kind of thing in real life. So when we find others who are into it, which naturally is through the internet, we get really excited about it and that kind of thing. Because I don't really know anybody else. I know there are a couple people that I've met, but I don't really have a whole lot of people in my actual life that I can talk about collecting action figures with. And my wife, she does too. My mom, she gets interested when I show her a new action figure or something, but she's but I don't have a lot of like toy photography friends in person, so when we find someone online, it's exciting.
That's what it is for me. Like I feel like a lot of my toy photography friends are online practically. It's the same for me. Like I have few family members that I show my photos to. Of course, they get amazed, but
right.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I don't know if you get what I mean by that, but yeah,
of course, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. So let's see. Oh, I do have another question here for you. Is what challenges have you faced as a toy photographer? Like any problems while in a photo shoot or anything like that?
Well, I mean, I think our biggest challenges, at least for me, but I feel like probably for everyone, is kind of maybe this will sound weird and cliche, but ourselves. I feel like my biggest challenge is sometimes just getting over like my own like things that thinking to myself like, oh, I won't be able to pull this off, or even getting into that kind of a rut where it's like, oh, my photo sucks or it's not as good as somebody else's or something like that. I feel like that's probably the biggest one, because to be honest, as far as like any other outside elements, or at least like other people, everyone's always great. Like if I ever shoot or something outside, every person's always that sees me is always incredibly just curious and excited and stuff, and I think a big challenge is getting over some of the insecurities and struggles we have, especially just getting started too. I remember when I was super not confident with my own abilities with taking pictures and stuff like that, I would see other people and their photos and just be like, wow, that's so good. I'll never be able to do that. And I remember feeling really crappy about that. Just seeing how good other people were and just being like, man, I am not that good. But over time, I see pictures that I remember being like blown away from in the past and being like, nowadays I'm like, oh, you know what? I think I could do something like that now, because I've gotten better over the years. So I think probably some of the biggest challenges is just our own insecurities, stuff like that. Or maybe that's
Ourselves.
just me. As ourselves, yeah.
Yeah. We're
Yeah,
our
what about you?
biggest critics.
It's so true, and that can be a good thing, though. The more
Yeah.
critical
It's not
you
always
are
negative.
of like yourself, hopefully, the better it drives you to be. You know.
Huh? To be better, just to improve.
Yeah, exactly. Just get better.
So, do you have like a favorite action figures that you like to use for your photo shoots?
Of course, I do.
Star
well, I mean,
Wars, right?
yeah, Star Wars is always gonna be my favorite thing. I think, yeah, Star Wars kind of is like my favorite of all of the franchises and things that I'm into. I mean, there's a lot of them. Star Wars is probably always going to be number one. And one of the things that I love about Star Wars, and especially for toy photography, is you can take a Star Wars character and put them in just about any physical type of setting, and it will fit and feel accurate thematically, because Star Wars is just such a vast universe where there's a planet that looks like this and there's a planet that looks like this. Like, you could stick them in your grass and have the grass be taller than the figure, because that's just how toys and real life are, but it would still fit because there's probably a planet out there in Star Wars somewhere where there's got grass that's really tall. Like, it all just fits thematically.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that about Star Wars. But yeah, of course, the Black Series. There's always that kind of line is always one of my favorite things to recommend, because you can go, at least for me. I know I live in us in the U.S., so I can walk into a store and I can find a great Black Series. Like right now, you can go into Walmart and you can see you've got Mando, you've got Darth Vader, you've got a lot of like great options right there on the shelf, and I think that's really great.
Yeah, that's what I like about being able to go to the stores. I feel like a lot of them have like a variety of different figures. One store, like you said, like a Walmart can have Mando and Darth Vader, and I don't know, a GameStop could have, I don't know, Han Solo and Chewbacca or something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
It's amazing.
And we're kind of in a renaissance, or I don't know, like the best time to be an action figure collector, I think, because technology is obviously better now than it ever has been. And so many adults now that are in the industry of things are people that used to be kids growing up with action figures. So there's so much like I don't know, we just keep getting more and more figures from all these different brands coming out of nowhere, putting out these incredible action figures. Like, I just saw this, it's a third party. I don't know what the name of the brand is, but it's a third party Boba Fett figure, so it's not officially licensed. And it's got like a cloth jumpsuit underneath the armor and stuff, and it looks amazing. Just like, wow. And yeah, we're just gonna keep getting more and more stuff, and unfortunately that means more money we have to spend to buy figures. But we definitely are in probably the best time action figures have ever had.
I feel like we're in like in a transitioning era. I'm not sure that makes sense to you, but I feel like now a lot of the action figures are geared towards the adults versus kids, which I guess in a way kind of makes sense, because I don't see many kids have figures. It's mostly technology for them nowadays.
Yeah, hasn't there been a some type of something that came out recently that showed that companies like Hasbro and stuff like that, they have openly shared statistics showing that most of their sales, like, or maybe not most, but like a very large, like 40% of all of their sales are from adults who are just collecting toys.
Man.
And which is, I think, cool, because it becomes to the point where they are aware that their biggest market is us.
Yeah.
So that means they will hopefully continue to gear more towards us, so then we get more what we want, they get the money, and then it all works out.
We adults make it worth their while.
Yeah, as long as they're making money, that's the whole reason they're doing it in the first place. So
yeah, that's what I like about this. I feel like since they start to notice that adults buy it a lot more, they want to improve their figures, like you said, like they want to add more details to it and make it more elaborate.
Yeah, technology keeps getting better, which makes all that stuff easier and easier.
Yeah, you know what? I think I remember. I'm not sure if it was a video that you posted or from someone else, but I saw it was like a review on an action figure that didn't have any like visible articulations. It was like it looked like it was just clothing over the figure. You were able to.
Right.
I don't know. Was that you that posted something like that?
It might have been. I don't think I've done anything like that recently, but It's crazy. They exist. There's a lot like it's crazy. With the options of soft goods now, like those can hide all the joints. There's figures, a lot of like 1/6 figures. Will be wire based, and the skin and stuff is like almost like a rubbery kind of thing. So Hasbro actually did a little bit of those. The Hyper Real. Do you remember there are two Hyper Real figures they released, and so they were wire underneath and then like a rubber outside, so there were no visible joints at all.
I feel like they're starting to dabble into that a little bit.
Yeah, I'm all for it, which is interesting to me because I kind of like the fact that the joints are visible, because there's something about, at least with toy photography for me, that I want the figures and the toys to look like these are toys. Yeah. I feel like that's part of the novelty of toy photography. It's like, oh, that toy is doing something cool that a toy wouldn't be doing.
Yeah, hence the name toy photography.
Right. And I feel like the second it starts not looking like a toy anymore, it becomes less fun.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But at the same time, I still want them to be awesome and detailed and stuff like that. But
yeah, I feel like there needs to be like a balance, pretty much.
Yeah, I still want it to look like a toy. That's part of the fun of it.
Oh man, yeah, we'll see where toys are in 5 or 10 years from now.
Oh my gosh, it's probably going to be huge leaps and bounds from where we are.
Oh man, huge advancements.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was gonna say, can you maybe walk the listeners or viewers through your creative process when it comes to toy photography?
Sure.
From concept to finish.
Well, it's weird. It's always changing for me, and so as of like right now, the way my mind works is I'm kind of like I kind of give myself these schedules. Yeah, and it wasn't always like this, but I've so prioritized like making enough videos to put out onto YouTube, and each video essentially is based off of one figure. So I've got this pile of figures that I need to make videos for, and I see the figure and I'm like, okay, I gotta think of a good idea for this figure. Which for the longest time it wasn't really that way. It was more like, okay, I've got an idea which figure, but now it's kind of switched. So usually the most important thing for me with a photo is the idea of the photo. Not necessarily the effects happening or the posing, but the idea and the concept of what's happening in the photo, because that's usually the thing that is interesting. So like this, the most recent photo that I did was with one of the newer Cheetos.
Oh, that's right.
Chester Cheeto one. And so I guess it was probably one of the easiest photos and quickest that I've done in a really long time, but I thought the idea was really funny, and that was what I thought was the most important thing. So basically what the photo was Chester Cheetah, who's the mascot for Cheetos. It's a really cool action figure. And there's a mouse trap, and there's a Cheeto on the mouse trap, and he's like about to try and grab the Cheeto from the mouse trap, and it's funny, and it's like ha. And so what's the word, as far as setting up the shot and the posing and the special effects, and none of that was very substantial. It was all just super simple. It's just boom on my countertop. That's it. But the idea was funny.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Your Cheetos photo actually kind of inspired me to create that. I'm pretty sure you saw that photo of the zombie grunt on the pumpkin.
Yeah. I can see it in the background too.
Uh,
Still freshly set
you know
up.
what? I just left it there. I was gonna take it up. I was like, it's Halloween, so let me just have it there as decoration.
Yeah, that's cool. And yeah, decoration, and it'll remind you of a fun shot. But
Exactly.
so the idea is usually the thing that comes first to me. But and then I'll kind of just go from there. One thing that I try really hard to do, and I guess this, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too much, but I really try to make like the next photo I take, I want to be so completely different than the last photo I took, and then different from that. And so like I'm constantly thinking like, no, I can't do that again. I just did that recently. Because one thing man, I feel like I'm yapping, but
no.
One thing I love is taking a really cool photo, but I love the idea of having a really cool gallery of photos. So like, I like the idea of kind of like my Instagram page, or all our Instagram pages is kind of like our gallery. You know, you go up and you can see all of our stuff. And so I like the idea of someone opening up my Instagram, for instance, and seeing every photo right off the bat is like super different from the last, and it's like they're all very diverse. And so that's one thing I'm always keeping in mind. Like I can't do this because I just did something like that recently, so I'll try to have everything super different as far as just like setting, and I don't know, but I'm sure still there's a little bit of each photo that still has the same type of my own feeling to it, just like all of your photos will all have all of your style to it.
Oh, exactly. For you, I noticed that for you, like you edit a lot of your photos on the computer, right?
Yeah, I use Adobe Photoshop and just edit everything in Photoshop. Man,
yeah. You see, for me, I don't have any computer or anything like that, so I actually edit a lot of my photos through that PixArt app.
PixArt is amazing. PixArt is such a fantastic app. I feel like that's probably the most, like, often when I hear anyone uses their phone to edit, I feel like most people are using PixArt, and it really is great. Do they have like paid options? I know obviously it's free, but do they have like if you pay an extra whatever, you get the full
they do
version?
have like a little subscription actually.
Okay.
I believe I just got myself the year one because I know I use it a lot for everything pretty much. But,
it sounds like it would be worth it, because just the free version alone is great. I'm sure the paid version has
so
tons
good. Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I pay for Photoshop. I'm sure, and Photoshop is so much. It's like 20 something bucks a month.
Man.
it's so much. It's crazy, but it's worth it.
Yeah. I mean, is that like your main application you use for the computer? Like, is that like your favorite one? What do you say?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't really use anything else. In my opinion, it's like everything I need is in there. There's a few different other options. If I were to use Lightroom, which is another Adobe program, which all comes with it. You know, you get the subscription, you get all of it. But Lightroom does have a few more options as far as like adjusting colors and little things like that. But I feel like Photoshop has enough, you know.
Enough options.
Yeah. So I rarely ever go and use anything. Almost never. I pretty much do everything in Photoshop.
Nice. So do you have like do you have like a specific how to explain it, like process? Like I think you did mention that you schedule your photo shoots. Is that right, or just kind of like?
Kind of, yeah, pretty much. It's my toy photography world has become much more scheduled and planned out than it used to be, which sounds a lot less fun, but it still is. But yeah, I try to have a YouTube video posted every Thursday and then every Sunday, and so which every YouTube video I have has like, you know, the toy photography segment at the end, and so I'll kind of time that out. I'll post the YouTube video along with the toy photo on Instagram, and then like a TikTok little version of that on TikTok, and I'll pretty much post them all simultaneously, all together. And it does take a lot of timing. Like, I have to, I don't know, getting 2 videos in 1 week is a lot, but it's so worth it. I just
I'm sure.
It's been very rewarding lately, and it really pushes me. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm like, why do I do this to myself? But then I remember why, because it really does push me, I think, to not only think like creatively, to keep thinking of new and fun and different ideas, but also just like, I don't know, like my work. I feel like I feel so incredibly proud of myself and accomplished when I do put something out, and I'm just like, yes.
Oh, I'm sure. I know that feeling.
Yeah, right. It's such a good feeling, especially when it's something you're really proud of. Like a really great photo, something like that. You can't wait to share it.
Yeah. I try to do the same thing as well when it comes to like posting like my toy photography stuff, or even a YouTube video.
Yeah.
I try to at least post once or twice a week, but man, it's some work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it sure is. But yeah, it's especially worth it. And sometimes, you'll put a lot of work into something, and it might not necessarily get like the response you're hoping for, and that happens to us all. But as long as it's like something that you are proud of, like that's what matters the most. Like, if you like, there are plenty of times, and I feel like I've gotten really good at not caring about when something, like, let's say I post something, it doesn't get a lot of views or a lot of likes or something. I've gotten really good, I think, at just not caring about that, because the thing that matters the most, and I think it's really great for everyone to try to keep in mind, is if you're proud of this photo and you think it came out great, that's what matters. Don't even check that like count, because who cares? You did something awesome, and that like amount doesn't equal the quality of the photo or something you've made.
Exactly.
That's not what determines that. It is nice to see it and see all those, and that's really great. But sometimes if I'm proud of something, I don't even check how many likes it gets, and maybe like a week later, I'm like, how have the last few posts done? But I won't even check.
I feel like I've been getting into that mindset lately. Like, whenever I post a video, I just try to not see how many views I have or how many likes, or if I did or didn't get any comments. And I feel like it's more of a surprise when you check later on down the line.
And it really is. It really is. It's always a great surprise. But yeah, that's always the most important thing. Are you proud of it? Then that's what matters.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, speaking of our schedules and checking on the views and whatnot, I actually used to have a friend who used to post a lot of YouTube videos back way back when. He would always be stressing out about that, like, I need to post a video today and tomorrow. And one thing I told him is just it's about the quality, not the quantity.
It is.
And having fun, of course.
It really is. Well, yeah, that's, as long as you're enjoying yourself, that's the most important thing. If you're not, then you've got to rethink something. But, yeah. And I do get his stress about quantity, because I do feel that way sometimes too. But quality is the most important thing. Like,
exactly.
If I wanted to cook dinner for my wife, I could make 1,000 individual bites of crackers, and that would fill her up. All of those. But I could also spend that time just making something real nice. Might not be 1,000 bites, but it'll be way better. I don't know where I'm going with this analogy.
Yeah. Oh, I get it though. I get it. So let's see. Do you have any plans? Plans or projects for the future that you'd like to share? Or
sure. Let's see. What have I got coming? So next week, what am I gonna film next week? Next week, I'm gonna do a video on a Woody figure from Toy Story. Okay. It's the Revoltech, which that'll be exciting, because I don't really have a Woody figure at all. So that would be something very different for me. And then what else am I doing next week? I've got like a pile of stuff over there. Next week is I don't think it's more Godzilla. I've got a ton of Godzilla crap that I gotta do. What's the other thing? I think it might be Godzilla. Me too. I've been on such a crazy Godzilla kick recently. I don't know. Like I've never been a huge Godzilla person. But recently it just awakened inside of me. I'm so interested in Godzilla. All of a sudden, I don't know what's happened. So I've got all these figures and stuff. I've got a few Haya toys. I've got the Ghidorah Haya toys over there. It's huge. And, one of the blue ones, I think it's just called like Energized Godzilla.
Okay.
And then I have, I think it's like a 1974 SH Monster Arts Godzilla too.
Nice.
Oh, and I've got that's too much stuff. I've got the Godzilla -1 from Super 7.
Oh, okay, that one I'm trying to look for as well.
Yeah, I think he's on Entertainment Earth.
Earth, okay.
Super 7 one. He might still be, but there's been a few different releases. I know SH Monster Arts did one. I don't know if Haya Toys has done one yet. I could be wrong, but
yeah,
there's tons of stuff. There's too much stuff.
Too much stuff to announce,
man. There's just too much stuff out there.
So speaking of Godzilla, now do you have like a favorite kaiju from the Godzilla movies?
I'm pretty new to the Godzilla world. Like,
okay,
I've always like everyone else, been aware of Godzilla, and I've watched all the main American release movies.
Yeah,
but I've only recently started watching some of the other stuff. But I'd really like Gamera. I think Gamera's cool.
Ooh, good choice.
The turtle guy. I think he's really cool.
Yeah.
And actually, when Godzilla vs. Kong came out, I was like, Kong has got this. Like,
yeah.
What are you talking about? Of course he's got this. But now I'm like, I get, because I was a little upset because Godzilla pretty much won. He won.
Yeah, pretty much. Fortunately, unfortunately.
Which it makes sense to me now, and I feel like it would have been kind of silly if he lost. But in the next one, there was one fight. Kong kind of had him. And like that fight in the middle when they were in like Egypt, Kong kind of had that.
Oh, you know what? He did. He
kind of had that one. So he
did have that one.
So they're kind of even, but they're friends.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's just so many of them. I keep wanting to. I've been watching a bunch of the older movies because I want to see all the kaiju. And for a while, I was really into Pacific Rim when that came out.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so into it that I had almost every single NECA figure, and there was a lot. They came out with all the Jaegers, well, most of them, and all the kind of had like all of those, and I sold them a while back. So I had too much stuff, and I had to free up space. And sometimes I'm like, I'm glad I got rid of them. I needed the space, but then sometimes I'm like, oh, man, why I didn't have to do that. Why I could have at least kept one. But I'm sure, I don't know, I bet you some other brand will start doing it. Like Haya Toys will start doing Pacific Rim, and then I'll be back.
Yeah. Nice. You know what? For me, I'd say my favorite is Space Godzilla.
Right. He's got like the big crystal looking things on his back, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen him around, but I've never watched the movie or movies.
Okay.
So that's on my list. I'm slowly
getting
getting
one.
through.
I'll say that.
It's a good one. Okay. Is there just
No
one
spoilers.
movie? Is there?
Yeah, it's just that one movie with him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, he looks cool, and just like the idea of Space Godzilla, like, come on, that sounds awesome.
An interesting concept. You know, I'm hoping that someday that they'll bring the Space Godzilla into like the American films. That'd be interesting to see, like the design.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. It seems like this is going to be a franchise that continues to grow, and there's such a huge, rich library of different monsters to choose from, and I'm sure they'll all come in. There's just so many of them.
they have so much they could dig into. It's crazy because I remember when what was it, the third Godzilla, Mecha Godzilla came out. They were saying that was supposed to be the last movie, but I kept telling a lot of my friends, they're gonna keep on going because they have, like you said, they have like a
right
deep amount to select from.
Yeah, as long as those movies keep making money, why would they stop?
Oh yeah.
And they'll keep making money. I don't think they're not like mega crazy billions, but they're always a success, right?
I feel like they're for the main, for the hardcore fans or just fans in general.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Man. So getting back onto the topic for toy photography, what's a piece of equipment that you can't live without when you're doing a photo shoot? Like, is there something that you have to have with you at all times?
To be honest, I think I've become quite reliant on my remote. So like I have a Bluetooth remote for my camera.
Yeah.
And it's like an $80 remote.
Huh.
But it's honestly like I'm trying to imagine not having it. It just sounds awful. Like it's so incredibly helpful, and it's Bluetooth, so I don't have to be in any type of range. I could, if I had my remote right now, it would shoot in my bag as it's it's great. Sometimes it doesn't, like, it takes a sec to like connect. I'm like, come on. But once it's connected, it's great. It's man, I don't know what I would do without it. But I mean, some other things that I really love that I'm super I don't know, just glad I have, and like a light reflector. I love using a light reflector. Anytime I'm outside and I'm just kind of utilizing the sun, I bring a big light reflector. They're super cheap, and they make such a big difference when you're using the sun. They make such a huge difference, and they're cheap and they're easy to use, and it's like you can get some crazy results with just the sun, which is free, and then just this little thing to reflect light. And you don't even necessarily need to get a light reflector for it. You could just, like, a white piece of paper does a lot right there.
Yeah, pretty much anything that's bright, I'm sure.
Yeah, and especially when, like, you're trying to do like crazy action and you need all this light, and so you can crank your shutter speed. And yeah, it's super handy.
And actually, now that you mentioned the light reflector, I actually got this. Don't have it with me, but I bought this little sheet of paper at a art craft store, and they had like a bunch of them. Actually, they had like some background looking things, or backdrops, I should say. And one specifically that they had was like a silver, like, glossy looking sheet of paper, and I got that, and wow, it's definitely helped out.
That probably is great. Is it like a harder, like a cardstock kind of thing, or is it like
that's it. Yeah.
Wow, that's probably insanely helpful. So the one I have, that I use is just like a round thing. So like I have to always hold it. Like if I find a good spot for it, I have to make sure I hold it in that spot. I don't have a way to really keep it up. Which I'm sure there's plenty of different options for that, but sometimes I feel like holding it is the best option, because then if I can hold it and I can get the right angle, and it's like, and then the sun moves sometimes, and then I gotta adjust the angle. So maybe holding it is the way to go. It's working great now. So
man, that's good though. Again, I've seen the photos where you've have used the reflector, and the photos come out really amazing, by the way.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
And it's that's how easy it is. Yeah, it's just using the sun, and then the thing to bounce the sun. It's crazy how that's all you need,
That natural lighting is everything.
Man, I agree. It's everything, but sometimes it sucks because you gotta deal with a cloud, or you gotta, like, nowadays it's starting to get dark at like 6:30. It's like, come on,
man. So, all right, everyone. For those of you who are listening, thanks for being here. Hope you all enjoyed, and definitely go check out Sir.dork's Instagram or YouTube channel as well. I'll link it down below. And yeah, see you all next time.
Comment, like, and subscribe.